Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit today about overtraining. One of the things that happened to me earlier on when I was doing some more serious training was that I overtrained myself. So this is how I learned about overtraining. The story basically goes was that I was running between about 40 and 60 kilometers a week, getting ready for Army Ironman training. And then I read an article online, or maybe in a magazine. Back then, I think it was a magazine. And so the article basically talked about the Kenyan runners and how they got fast. And so they got fast by running to and from work every single day. And so I thought to myself, I'm gonna run to and from work every day. So it was about 13 kilometers and to work, 13 kilometers back, so 26 kilometers a day, which wasn't all that far from the mileage that I was doing, so it wasn't a crazy amount more. But what happened was I didn't understand intensity variation, and so every day I ran and I got faster and faster and faster for about 3 weeks. And so at the end of the 3 weeks, I started not being able to meet my times, and I started feeling tired, and I couldn't focus at work, and so I would go into my office and I would lock the door and I would try and take a nap if I could, or it was really bad. And so I just thought, I'm gonna power through this, so I'm gonna get my bike, and I'm gonna bike to work, run home, run to work, bike home. And so that dragged on for probably another 3 weeks or so, and then I just hit the wall of fatigue. No matter what I could do, I couldn't get faster, and I couldn't get better. I didn't feel rested. I was having heart palpitations. I went and saw the doctor. They ran blood work, and they're like, "Yeah, everything's fine. You're healthy. Everything's good." But all my training was going to hell. And so basically what had happened was I had changed the volume of the intensity that I was doing it, because I was racing every single day against the clock on each effort. And so the intensity of the volume versus the volume was totally different. So what I want to show you is a few things with how I do the programming at the gym, and how you can modify this to make sure that you get the best out of your training here. So I'm going to flip over so we can see the board here. I hope it's not reversed for the video here. Okay, so anyways, basically what we have is most people's plan is to go up here, so you can see week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, progressively getting better. So this is the push-up challenges where they're like, week 1 I'm going to do 10 push-ups, week 2 I'm going to do 20, 30, 40, 50. But this is what happens is that there's no recovery time built in. And so everyone's answer is going to be a little bit different where you hit the wall. And so it's going to be based off of your training experience. And so a lot of people overestimate their training experience. And where I typically estimate training experiences is off of the basic strength chart. So that's in the workout journals. And for other people watching online, you can search Mark Ripito basic strength standards, and I think I have it on the website CrossFit London under resources. So when people are in an advanced state, they will take on volume, advanced and elite state, they'll take on volume at a better pace because they're stronger and they have a training history. When you're in a beginner, novice, intermediate state, you're going to not take on the volume in the same fashion. So what we do with the programming is we take and we set up where we have an increase 1, 2, 3 weeks up, and then we have a decrease, which allows what we call super compensation to happen. So super compensation is actually the time when your body recovers. And when you recover, then the body recovers and compensates for the work that you've done during week 1, 2, 3, or day 1, 2, 3, depending on how we do the cycle. And then from there, the following week would be higher. So you'll see week 1 and week 2 of these different cycles are about the same. And so then we go week 1, 2, 3, and then we recover. Our recovery week now is at the same volume as week 2 on week 4 here, and we have an easier gradient coming up. Up here, we're going up here and we're getting greedy. We have no layoff, and the layoff is when the muscles have the time to recover and work to basically get better. I've made a list here, and I'm hoping that I can flip this video around so it's readable. So here are the main things that happen. Actually, I'll just read them. Chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue, indifference to training, insomnia, inability to concentrate, loss of appetite, unexplained weight loss, prolonged muscle ache, so a little bit beyond DOMS, so things lasting beyond 2 days of muscle soreness, soft tissue injuries and infections. This one's a big lead on. When we have things like shoulders and knees that are normally fine, and then all of a sudden they start aching and just won't go away, this is a time where we should be making a little bit of a recovery focus into the workouts. Infections, if you've got a cold that's been lingering and won't go away, that's a sign that the immune system's compromised and your body is just not getting the rest that it needs. Increased heart rate at rest. Again, having some basic info of your heart rate is a great indicator to see how am I doing. So I was just kind of recovering from a cold the other week, and as I was thinking, I'm feeling better, and I checked on my resting heart rate, and it was elevated by about 15 beats a minute. And so that's the typical kind of response rate that you see when your body's not at full rest. It's still working to get rid of that cold. And then the last one is a really easy measure: inability to maintain performance. So what I talked about when I was running and doing all that stuff was that no matter what I could do after I got to that point, I couldn't get faster, I couldn't get stronger, I couldn't do that. And so those key indicators are the time that we can kind of focus on our recovery, and that recovery is when you're going to get that super compensation that we want. Again, looking at this plan with CrossFit, we have multiple different tasks. So let's say we have conditioning and we have strength, just as 2 tasks. Normally we're juggling about 4 or 5 different tasks at once. So at a given time, I will focus on one thing while the other one's recovering. So we're not doing everything all at once. Most people's approach is like, well, if I want to run better, I'm going to do more running. And if I want to lift more, I'm going to do more running. And then and they stack and stack and stack. And you can see how that creates this pattern that goes up without layoff. What we call that is undulating periodization. And so what that means is that there's these natural highs and lows that come up with this. And so we use times like long weekends, holidays, different things like that to build them into the programming as natural recovery times, as well as balancing the program so that you're not working 100% on all tasks. I hope this is helpful for some of you guys. It's meant to educate you guys and pay attention to those things. Hopefully I can flip the video around so you can read the list, but you can hopefully that's readable, and then you can kind of follow through. But if you have any doubts, come in, follow the numbers, ask questions, check up on yourself, and hopefully that's helpful to understanding overtraining. Thanks. Bye.